Yo, 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 Soup Squad! It's your boy Nimbo, Soup again. Welcome into my guide for early jets in air realistic battles, made by Mr. Halo skill player and edited by myself. If you don't know who Halo is, join the Discord, you'll figure it out pretty quick. Anyways, shout out Halo, let's get into it. Whether you're here because you've bought a shiny new premium, or you dug yourself in and you ground your way to jets, congratulations. There will be something here to help you out along your journey. If you're a veteran player in need of a refresher, this guide will give you just that. As you spawn in a new match and attempt to take off, you'll notice that you barely produce enough lift to actually get up off the ground and fly straight. Early jets accelerate quite poorly, so make sure you're careful on takeoff, don't pull your flaps up too early, and also make sure you get your gear in appropriately so that you can build speed easier. You can more easily read your energy state by pressing F4 to get into the virtual cockpit. As you'll notice, the flight path indicator, I don't know what it's actually called, I'll be calling it that for this video, it's going to be about 5 or so degrees where your cursor is at. Make sure you keep this above 0 degrees on takeoff so you actually can get up off the ground without crashing. Once you get enough speed, get your flaps up and nose up to compensate for that little bit of lift loss. Slowly lower your nose back down as you gain more and more speed so that you can keep building that speed up even faster. As you're seeing here, with more speed comes more control. You'll see that as I go faster, my flight path indicator gets closer to where my cursor is at. Once they're pretty close together, you've got some energy built up, you can start building your altitude and speed. Depending what I'm playing, I might zoom climb, go straight for a bit, build up speed, and then climb hard, or I might just throw it into a 10 to 15 degree climb. Typically, that's what I tend to do because I get bored. Ah, yes, the fun part. To understand energy fighting in early jets, first of course you gotta know what energy even is. The combination of your speed plus your altitude equals your energy. The more speed and altitude you have, the more energy you have. It's pretty hard math, I know. As far as the importance of having more speed versus the importance of having more altitude, for early jets, unlike in props, having high speed is way more important than having high altitude, since you can bank way more energy that way than you can in a prop. But having both never hurt anyone, because remember, energy is the lifeblood of battles, at least at tiers that don't have access to super good missiles. Having the energy advantage increases your chances of winning the fight significantly under any circumstance. With the advantage, you can, and should, simply just boom and zoom without ever having to worry about performing in a dogfight. But what if you're being chased by the enemy, or you don't have the energy advantage? Well, having the advantage is obviously preferable, you do still have options. If you're being chased by a plane that you can't outrun, you should try to make them overshoot you. Found a nice happy medium speed where you're going slow enough to have them fly past you, but fast enough to be able to dodge their shots and turn if you need to. Using flaps, air braking, throttle control, those are all going to help with this. Small adjustments using keyboard control surfaces are going to be the most effective. I like to use a lot of negative elevator. If you need more help on these, check out my defensive flying guide that I made a while ago, maybe 10 or so months. I don't know, you'll see by the thumbnail. If it's possible, try to preserve enough energy to maybe hit a shot on the enemy as they overshoot you, but do not get greedy. The main focus here is staying alive, not trying to get kills. The window of opportunity you'll have to kill an overshooting enemy is going to be extremely small anyways. If you miss, get your energy back immediately. Nose down, do what you need to do, build your speed back up. Use the time in between your enemy's next boom and zoom to get into better positioning for it. If you bring them down to the deck, eventually they'll run out of energy if you keep doing it enough, or maybe you'll get lucky and they'll hit the ground. I wouldn't know what that's like, never done it before personally. So what about planes with the same energy state as you? Eventually, if you're lucky enough, you'll face something on absolute equal footing in a true 1v1. These are the kinds of fights I live to play this game for. If you're not confident in your superior piloting abilities being able to win you the fight alone, don't be afraid to take head-ons. There's no point in committing to a fight you'll think you'll lose, so at least give yourself a chance. You can be a full committer, or you can be somewhat smart about them. I'm going to assume you guys don't plan on dying, so let's be a little smart here. Depending on your guns, you want to start shooting from pretty far out. I usually shoot anywhere from around 1.8 kilometers out with 50 cals, or high velocity cannons, and maybe 1.3 with lower velocity cannons. It's not an exact science. The point here is, shoot from far away. The enemy is traveling perfectly straight, and it's not that hard to hit from far out as long as you compensate for the drop of your bullets over long distances. Once you've shot, start dodging early. If you see bullets flying past you already, it's probably too late to attempt to dodge, and you might as well just full commit at that point. Oh, and make sure you have enough speed to actually be able to dodge if you're going to try that. You'll get way better at these with practice. I don't recommend taking head-ons a lot, only really do it as a last resort. Once you've shot and dodged, if you're still alive, do not turn around for the enemy. That's just going to get you right into the dogfight that you were trying to avoid by taking the head-on in the first place. Put your nose down a bit, build up some speed, and run. Go to your team, climb a bit, get more energy, get better positioning somehow, whatever it might be, doesn't matter. Chances are the enemy is going to get bored and leave you alone, and that's when you turn around once you have the advantage. Everything I just discussed covers up to about 10.0 or so, where Missile Thunder really starts to take over. Of course, even at these BRs, you should still be familiar with reading energy states for missile launching purposes, but the point of this video is early jets, so we're not going to venture into that territory. Once again, just need to make it abundantly clear here, we're sticking to early jets for this guide, maybe up to like 9.3 or something. Eventually I'll make a top tier guide, but for now we're only going to touch on the crappier missiles at lower BRs. These are generally pretty easy to dodge. Just pull a little bit of G's and you should be good. If that doesn't work, try to pull in one direction, let the missile lead you, then roll the opposite way and pull as hard as you can. The goal in the first place should be to have good enough positioning to not let an enemy shoot a missile at you that can kill you, but if that fails, you should be able to dodge these ones kinetically. Remember, I'm talking the AIM-9Bs and the R60s of the world here. You also can take rocket pods, or obviously flares if your plane has access to them. Pretty self-explanatory. If a missile gets shot at you, maybe drop your throttle a bit, pop a flare or a rocket or whatever, and turn away slightly. That should do the trick. The missiles here are pretty terrible, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. Oh yeah, and if one of the super crappy radar missiles gets shot at you, like an R3R, literally just don't fly straight and you'll be fine. The most important part of any game you're in is actually being aware of what's happening around you, having game sense. Not only being aware of potential dangers to yourself so that you can stay alive longer and ultimately have a bigger impact on the match, but being aware of potential targets and who might be the best to go for you given the circumstances you're in. Try to stay informed on the battle by paying attention to the kill feed. Who died, where they died, what they were in when they died. Also try to look around as much as possible. The free look key, I think by default it's bound to C, is going to improve your awareness by a lot. Try to use this as much as possible. Being aware of what's going on around you is going to help you have great positioning, which I feel like people underestimate the importance of in aerialistic battles. I mean, in ground, having good positioning is obviously important. In air, if you have it, you pretty much automatically win as long as you don't throw too hard. I mean, think about it. If you know what's going on, where all the enemies are, simply you can avoid those places until you have the advantage. Like I was talking about earlier in the energy fighting section, this makes things significantly easier. It's not really feasible for me to just sit here and tell you exactly what maneuvers you should pull in what situation. Don't really have the time for that. What I have done though is give you the knowledge to be able to go out there on your own and practice applying the principles that we talked about, and eventually you'll figure those out for yourself. As with anything else, practice makes perfect. Right now you might be dying to skill issues, but after practicing what we talked about, it's possible you'll be out dogfighting planes that turn way better than you. like I stated earlier, energy is the lifeblood of battles at BRs that are not top tier. Do not underestimate that statement. All in all, take things slow. Don't push yourself too hard to be as good at this game as your friends or content creators you see on YouTube are. A lot of it is cherry-picked anyways. It really isn't that deep, and most of them are absolute tryhards. And I mean, hey, if that's you, to each their own, I don't really care. Personally though, I prefer memeing around and actually enjoying myself playing the game. Yup, it wouldn't be a Nimbo video if I didn't somehow incorporate the fact that you should never forget to have fun. I hope you learned something from my guide. I really did have fun making it, and once again, shout out to Halo for making the script. If you need more help, join the Discord and we'll get you going. Anyways, you all know the deal. This is Nimbo Soup. Nimbo signing out. Peace out, fellas.